today we are writing the equation of a line given 2 points. So let's brainstorm. What 2 things do you need to write an equation in point-slope form? A point and a slope. Good, that's from yesterday. How could you get those 2 things if you're given 2 points? A skeleton. Good, you guys remember what that skeleton's called? What does the skeleton find? Okay, so let's think about this, because we've used 2 different skeletons now. We used the point slope skeleton, right? That's what we used yesterday. That one looks like this. We want to use the one that gives us slope. This is point slope. We just want slope. Does anybody remember what that slope skeleton looks like? Kalisha. Parentheses. Good job. Excellent. All right, so when we... Levi, I thought we had a discussion. All right, so I'm finding my slope, which is my change in y over my change in x. Right? That's what we're going to use today. Because then once I've got my slope, I have a point and a slope, and I can use point slope form. All right, so let's do this one. Pencils down. Everybody pencils down. Thank you. Write the equation of the line that passes through the given point. What's really nice about this first example is that I can get my equation of the line just by using slope-intercept form. Right? So what's my slope? That's 2 over 1. So 2x, and what goes here? -2. So the whole point of this is I'm going to use point slope form, but I've already got my answer up here. So I'm basically just checking my answer. All right, so my first step, I'm given 2 points. I need to find my slope if I want to put it into point slope form. So my slope equals my change in y over my change in x. So we need to figure out which one we're going to use first, right? Because the order does matter. I can start with this point and go to that one, or I could do the opposite and start with this point and go to this one. So which one do you guys want to do? You want to go up or you want to go down? You want to go up? All right. Let's go up. So when I go up, which one am I going to start with, my x's or my y's? Y's, because y's go in the numerator, right? So if I'm going to go up, I'm going to start with -2, 0. -2, 0. And what am I going to put for my x's? Where am I going to start? 0, 1. 0, 1. If I simplify that, I get -2 over -1, which is, that's -2, thank you, which equals 2. Is this a positive slope or a negative slope? Positive, so is that right? That's right. So I've got a slope. Now I need a point. Pick one. 1, 0. Now I have a point and a slope. Now I just need to use point slope form, right? So y minus my y value equals my slope times x minus my x value. My y value that I picked is 0. My slope is 2. And my x value is 1. Now I just simplify. Do I need that 0? No. Y equals, let's distribute, 2x minus 2. Is that what I got up there? That's what I've got up there. So here are my steps. Find the slope using the slope skeleton. Identify a point. We identified a point. Write the skeleton. We wrote our skeleton. Substitute into the skeleton. We did that. And solve for y. Questions? So what's different today from yesterday? We just have to find the slope first, okay? All right, I'm going to do another one. Still pencils down. You're going to have plenty of time to do your own, okay? So let's go over our steps. I need to find my slope. My slope is my change in y over my change in x. Here is my slope skeleton. Which one do you guys want to start with? This one or this one? 5, 1. So I'm going to put in 1 and negative 2. 1 and negative 2. Does it matter which one I start with? As long as if I start with this one, I need to start with this one again, right? It doesn't matter which way you go. So this one is 5 and 8. 5 and 8. Equals, what is 1 minus minus 2? 3. And 5 minus 8, which equals negative 1. There's my slope. Now I just need to identify a point, right? Which one do you want to use? 5, 1? What's my next step? Write the skeleton. Y minus my y value equals my slope times x minus my x value. What's my y value? 1. What's my slope? And what's my x value? 5. So I have y minus 1 equals negative x plus 5. Add 1 to both sides. And I get y equals negative x plus 6. Questions? Okay, your turn. Try this one. Okay, how about Andrew? Andrew, where am I going to start? Find the slope. My slope equals my change in y over my change in x. Here's my slope skeleton. All right, so which one did you use first, Andrew? This one? All right, so you went from here down here. So my y is 3, and my other y is 0. 3, 0. Now which one am I going to use? I started here and I went this direction. Right? So don't I have to start here and go in that direction again? So what would I get? Which one would I start with? 0 or 3? 0, 3. 0, 3. All right, so 3 minus 0 is 3, and 0 minus 3 is negative 3, which equals negative 1. Is that a negative slope? So I think we're good. How about Mario? What do I do next, Mario? We have steps here. We identified a point. Good. So we know our slope. So why don't you identify a point? Pick one. 3, 0. Awesome. He's just indecisive today. It's okay. All right, let's see. How about Gilbert? Oh, Gilbert's not here. So Joshua, what's my next step? Write the skeleton. Good. So y minus my y value equals my slope times x minus my x value. How about Ariana? What's my y value? 0. What's my slope? And what's my x? Perfect. How about Andrea? What should I write? Good job. And we're done. Questions? All right, one. You guys, everybody have that? Aaron, you have that written down? Do you have this written down? No? Okay. Make sure you have that written. All right, try this one. Okay, so Christian, what's my first step? Find the slope. So m equals change in y over change in x. Here's my slope skeleton. All right, Christian, you're on. 4 minus 0. You decide to go backwards. I like going backwards too. 0 and 6. So 4 minus 0 is 4 over, which is, good job, negative 2/3. Aaron, what's my next step? Which point would you like to use? Well, that's our slope. These are our points. Which one would you like to use? 6 and 0? Okay. So we're using the 6 and the 0. How about Selena? What's my next step? We don't have a skeleton yet. Point, we already did that. Write the skeleton. So y minus my y value equals slope times x minus my x value. Eduardo, please tell me what to substitute. What goes here? Negative 2. Not negative 2. Right here. This is my y value, right? So which one's my y value? 0. What goes here? It's right there. What goes here? See how it says m? Yeah. What's my slope? Negative 2 over 3. And what goes here? 6. All right, how about Alex next to him? Tell me what you write. Y equals negative 2/3. Good job. Let's multiply that out and see what happens. Negative 2/3 minus 6 over 1. What gets canceled with that? The 3's, and what's left over? A 2. So let's rewrite this. Y equals negative 2/3 x. What do you think, Alex? Plus 4. Good job. A negative 2 and a negative 2 is a positive 4. Right? We multiplied these two. Questions? All right, so I think at this time I'd like to see how we're doing. So let's do this one. Put this one in your clicker. No, just go ahead and do this one on your paper and put it in your clicker. No, I'm sorry, I should have clarified. Guys, sit down. Everybody should have one clicker per pair. So, Joshua, yeah, you need to agree and then put it in your clicker. Okay, so you guys did fantastic on that. The answer was D. So when you put that into your slope formula, you should have gotten -8. I put in -8 first, and 8, and -3, and -5. This becomes positive, and you get -16/2, which is -8. If you did it the other way, you should have got the same exact answer. And when you put it in 2-point slope form, y minus, which one do you want to use? This one? Oh, I already did that one. Okay, so y minus -8, I should have put, equals -8 times x minus -3, which is y plus 8 and x plus 3. Y plus 8 equals -8x minus 24. Subtract 8 from both sides, and you get y equals -8x minus 32. Questions? Did you find what you did wrong? Good. That's what's important. All right, let's scroll to this. What did you learn today? Point slope. So it was 2 points. Good. What is the minimum needed to write an equation in point slope form? 2 points. You're right. That's exactly right. The person next to you is absent. How would you explain when you use point slope form and when you use slope intercept form?
When there's no y-intercept, you use point slope.
Excellent. When there's no y-intercept, you use point slope. Excellent. Perfect. Oh, sorry. Explain, spelled wrong. Explain 2 strategies you could use to write an equation in slope-intercept form given these 2 points. Who has an explanation? What are 2 different things you could do? You could use a graph. You could graph it and see if you could find the y-intercept, right? Or
use a skeleton.
Or use a skeleton and use point slope form.
You have to write the question.
No.
Okay.
I would just write 2 forms, have this, and put a graph, and then point slope form. Good job, guys.